Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting and wonderful edition of the Power Trading Hour. As always, we come to you at the appointed time. You know what? I did a update, and it's changed all my settings. Should have known that if it did one, it did the other. Let's try that again.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have? First thing we want to look at, I think, today is the volume, because we've been pushing up and pushing down on the markets. Right now, about 6.7 billion shares, which is better than some of the weakest days, but still is pretty puny if you think we've got some kind of giant move down in the market or move up. Either one of those would have been a kind of half-hearted effort. Not exactly sure what's going on, but it certainly looks like some big hands are in the market, both long and short. I'm a little bit worried that maybe we have a lot of short sellers coming in. One of the reasons is that I've seen before is when you can't find the short sale numbers on a lot of stocks, or in the case of Yahoo Finance today, any of them, for the 15th of this month. Normally, they should be coming out at 12 days after, so you should have seen them the 27th. Here it is, the 1st. Still no hide nor hair of the last bi-monthly shorting. On a daily basis, we have seen kind of a nice pop in the percentages of short selling last few days. Now, that could be one of two things. It could be retail traders getting on the wrong side, or the pros on Wall Street all battening down the what do you call it? Battening down the hatches for a huge move lower. I thought the mover lower would certainly come next week. We shall see today. We need not much of a bounce in the S&Ps to stay in the game today. If we would just get back to flat on the close, I think that would be a whole lot. If we closed lower today, even just mildly lower, I think that's probably saying something in the depths of fund buying. I think we could still get a bounce for some funds coming in, and generally you start seeing that money come in on the first around 2 o'clock. So we should be seeing a nice close today. If we do not, that means that some of that money is being held back. There used to be, it may still be around, a outfit called Trim Tabs, and they would track how much money is coming in and out of the flows of the market. I wasn't exactly sure how they did it. I haven't seen the guy on TV in a long time. It used to be fairly accurate to finding out what would happen during fund buying, but it's been pretty quiet for a while. We got a lot of questions going on, so we'll try to answer them up front. First one, PLTR from Rich in Orlando. We'll take a look. Doesn't look bad. If you thought the market was going higher, this is exactly where you would want to buy it on a Wyckoff model. It bounced up on the 14th of February with 216 million shares. You're back down into it with 18 million today and 35 yesterday. That's exactly what you want. The downside is if the markets do turn south, I think next week is what I was looking for. If they fail this week, if fund buying can't even hold the market up, that probably tells you that the markets are even weaker than maybe what I thought, and others did too. So that's the first one. Rum is the second one here today. And let's see. Well, you don't have a lot of volume. Hard to say out here. You know what? I don't see a lot in this. There could be. It's just I don't see. This thing just kind of has a pattern. I don't know a lot about this particular company. Let's look at the profile already in action out here. Take a quick look. Video sharing platforms. Company operates Rumble. Man, why I probably should have thought about that before I looked at RUM. Certainly doing extremely well out there. ASC. Yeah, they're down in Longboat Key. They're not very far from me. Maybe an hour and a half drive, maybe a little less. But yeah, it's they've built a big studio down there. I know, to bring in new people. And if YouTube and Facebook keep acting the way they do, they're probably going to carve out a nice little market for them, much like Fox, found a unsatisfied demand on cable news networks. I think Rumble will find the exact same thing as people continue to try to tell us one thing, lie to us, and then pretend they didn't lie about what they were lying about. It doesn't always make everybody right, but generally, you're better off with more speech, less than less. And what else can you say? I think it's got a big future. Right now, though, the problem is that everybody's waiting on the Supreme Court right now to find out what are going to be the new regulations into Section 230. The Supreme Court does not take cases not to change something. They had a pretty good idea before they took the case. They read about it. They still have arguments. Can you get one judge maybe to change their idea after the testimony? Yeah, you can, but most of them had a pretty good idea before it started. And if you just look into that, there's going to be some big changes. The only question, I think, is just how far the Supreme Court goes into changing a lot of overbroad Section 230 protections, and these companies become more of a Baby Bell kind of thing, where they have a lot more restrictions, and states and the feds have a lot more control over what and how they do things. So anyway, I think it's fine. I'm just not a big fan of going along a lot of stuff unless it's. The first one, that Planeteer looks very good. If I'm wrong in the market going down next week, I think that would be one to take a very tough and sober look at. We shall return.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we come back, we'll look at a lot of the movers and shakers out here today as the market just tries to decide what it's going to do. I think we're going to close higher just based on fund buying. We need a little bit more, not much, to confirm that. But we shall see. This is, it really looks like there's somebody. And it's hard to tell today so far whether it's a retail trader or it's the guys on the street that every time we have a bounce, massively short everything that they can. Of course, the thing is, if we don't go down, that's a lot of grist for the mill going higher. So we will continue. Let's see with the big movers out here today. Agilent Technologies, AGTs and Cs. A doji setting up here with some decent volume into a gap higher. That gap had 1.6 million shares. You're going to have more than that today. Generally, a doji is one of two things. It's the halfway tick on the move up or down, or it's a reversal signal. So you kind of want to watch that tomorrow and see if it starts moving up. That's generally a good sign that that has made a low. Ambarilla is going to get a little bit of the losing horn today. So we've got the gap down with a lot of volume. Of course, these guys are the biggest of the bunch when it comes to camera sensors, and the slowdown in pretty much all of smart handheld mobile devices has been a problem. They made a lot of money early on off of GoPro. GoPro's seeing a lot of competition from Chinese manufacturers who are not using Ambarilla's product, but kind of some rip-offs. So it continues to be problematic, but a fairly big disappointment in the semiconductor space today on that one. AMC, of course, the proverbial whipping boy that was making no money during the pandemic, to driving it to unrealistic prices because of the Robin Hood bunch gap down today on predictably low earnings. I did find that the propaganda surrounding this morning was pretty way over the top. I think the biggest movie of the year was that Avatar remake that really stunk. But it was kind of like watching a painting. If you just turn the audio off, maybe it was worth watching. All the huge amount of money they made in it, or used in it for CGI. I just didn't understand. I don't know. It was like 3 different movies crammed into one. It wasn't very good. It was visually stunning, and that was it. You take too long and you make a lot of mistakes, and he ran and tried to do that for 8 years. He would have been better off with a better script. About a third of it was some horrible teenage love story thing that looked more like Twilight than anything else. So I didn't think much about it other than the visual effects, but they could have been used and that money. Anyway, by the time they got done, they had $1 billion in this movie. Most even tentpole movies, even Top Gun, I think, was just a little over $400 million in actual money. They've got about 1.2 totally in this. It's done a little over 2, but you generally in the movie business want to get 4 or 5 times back what you spent. That's a good movie. They just kept running the prices up on it, but very interesting to see how much they're pushing that narrative, which I spent enough time out there around folks, especially the money folks of Hollywood, and they wouldn't call Avatar 2 any kind of thing other than they're glad they got their money back. We've all had trades like that before, but very interesting to see the propaganda pushed out by Bloomberg and CNBC on that whole idea. Barnes Group down a little bit, not much going on that one. What is COMP? Compass, that's what it is. Another losing horn out here, down today, some decent volume. Looks like $2. This is not exactly a penny stock, but kind of going that way. CPNG, which is Coupang, Chinese company retesting its previous lows that had 11 million shares back on December 30th. That was at 14.10. You got to 14.29 today. You already have 12.2 million shares. So pushing that with a lot of volume. DLTR. Man, you opened up well. You had a huge push on a short squeeze, and then kind of gave it all back up, back to the gap down that goes back to the 21st of December. 21st of February. So, I don't know. It just seemed like a lot of people were short the thing and got cleaned out today. Endeavor Group, down to $20.70, but still in that trading trend line. To see if we have anything else out. EXPI, which is Expo World. It looks like it's ready to go back and retest its low of $9.96. That's the December 27th low, $9.96. You're not that far away. You got a doji today. FRG, Franchise Group. Nice pop, wide-ranging bar today, which is kind of weird, but holding its own. First Solar is one of the winners, and it looks like it's going to be breaking out and on volume, one of the few out here today. You got 12 million shares going through a 8.7 million share high that goes back to the 16th of December. So you did break out. You do have a nice pop, and it's holding that high. So nothing bad there. Actually, something good there. Buy it on the retrace in a market like this. 2K. And Go just continues going lower. GPOR, which is Gulfport Energy, did gap up with some volume today. Is not broken out of any trading range. To Helmerich and Payne, I don't see much in that. HPQ was out after the bell last night, if I'm not mistaken. You have a wide-ranging bar where you open up higher and you're back down to the low-level support from the 21st of February. Not a lot of volume, though, so I don't see that there's a lot in there. We'll go through the rest of these in the next segment. Then we'll go to upcoming earnings in the last.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, we'll look at the rest of the stocks that are moving today, and then some that'll probably be moving later. iHeartMedia, this, you look and start seeing some of the folks in Washington, D.C. talk about getting rid of the AM broadcast band spectrum. I think that's probably coming. It may be another 5 or 10 years down the line. But these guys pretty much depend on talk radio, and that's probably moving to FM. So it's going to be a lot tougher, I think. And in fact, a lot of the folks that listen to talk radio during the day have moved to streaming too. But not a real big surprise out here. pretty large movement in the bar today. But long term, it's hard to actually see these guys do well. Podcasters have tended to be rather independent, and most of these groups that tried to band together early on and get talent just haven't been able to hold on to good talent and or gotten bad talent that people don't want to listen to. 877-927-6648. JXN. Well, let's take a look at Lowe's. Came out before the bell this morning. Disappointing, but about what everybody would think, and that is as the housing business starts to wind down, so does their business. You've got a big day back into this gap from the, what is that, November 10th. It's up on 4.9 million shares. You're going to have more than that already today. It's hard to think that the homeless despot, HD, would be much different. It's got a chart that looks just about the same. So not much going on there. You got right back into this gap, which was on the same, the 10th of November. So probably some highs in that on housing business, but that's it. Okay. See what else we have here. Macy's, a little lower. It's closed that gap from this morning. Monster Energy, drinks, gap down. Not a surprise there either. A lot of people are moving away from those drinks and onto other things. It tends to be a cyclical business. Two, they've gotten extremely expensive, like Coke and Pepsi have been, and I see a lot of people changing what their habits because of it, going to more or other types of beverages, including water. Big gap down, decent kind of volume. Looks to me like this is going to come back to about 93.5. Invax had the, we have a problem. We may not be a business of continuing, what is that? That thing they say right before they go bankrupt. A continuing enterprise? Yeah, I'll think of it in a minute. Huge gap down for Novavax. They never recovered from not being part of the vaccine club. They didn't get one out. And it's been a going concern. Thank you. I knew it was. I was trying to remember what it was. Anyway, the old going concern. And that tells you you should be scared to death about their future, because they're telling you that we're going to have to raise capital, a whole lot of it, which means that you're going to, at best, we stay in business. But for worse, we're going to have pain for a while. PBR, we're not talking Pabst Blue Ribbon. No, we're talking Petrobras, the Brazilian company that continues to get looted by the current president. The president before was tossed out by everybody, saying that, he was far too corrupt. And, of course, they put in somebody maybe even a little bit more corrupt than him that is a party to the drug cartel in Brazil. So there aren't a lot of great players. You have bad decisions and worse decisions to make in Brazil. But certainly a lot of hands in the cookie jar down in Brazil when it comes to oil money. Petrobras is no stranger to that. The gap down today on some decent volume. PM, a little bit more. Philip Morris tried to open at yesterday's high, gave it all up. Not a lot of volume, though. Rivian, another one that has some fairly huge losses. You've got monster volume down at the previous low. They've got lots of problems. They came in. Ford screwed them over. Ford's got its own problems. But you've got huge volume, not quite down to the low of January 19th, but that's where you're going, $15.28. So you're still about 32 cents away. My guess is it's going to hit that and go to $10 fairly quickly. RKT, rocket companies, hopefully they're not rocketing to new lows, but along the same line. Ross Stores, who you got to think would probably be doing better in a declining market environment. Certainly open lower, off a little bit better, not down to the lows of another one. If it would have gotten a little lower and continued with light volume, it might be a nice pattern. It still may be a nice pattern. It's gone into this gap higher on November 18th. It had 11.7 million shares with about 3.3 million shares. Actually not a bad setup if you think you have to be long something. To Southwest Gas, SWX, is retesting the previous lows. That's the December 22nd low, 635,000 shares. You're going to beat that today by the close, and you've gone maybe a tick or two below it. Urban Outfitters, URBN. Haven't talked about this one before. Mall traffic isn't getting any better. Malls keep closing. You did gap higher a little bit and gave it all up. You're still just a hair higher than yesterday. I don't see a lot in that one. VRM is just going sideways. Mr. Vroom. And, I don't think there's much going on there either. Okay, we got about a minute or two. Let's take a look. Okay. Did Tesla give it up today? Take a quick look. I don't think so. Certainly on volume, it's going to need some more. You're not going to close probably unless we have a horrible close below the 3x3. If we did, I'd watch it. You get a lot of movement out of it. That's going to probably continue. Support probably somewhere around 148. Talking a great deal about spending a lot of money in Mexico on building some new plants. I don't think a lot of people are very happy if any company right now is spending a lot of money. Worried about a recession. They kind of want you to keep your coffers full. We'll be back in a minute. We'll look at usual suspects and upcoming suspects for earnings tonight and tomorrow.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
And as we come back here, let me turn that up a little so I can hear myself. Yeah, this is the big thing everybody's looking at today. So far, it's not that bad, but it's not that good either. You really were looking for something in the neighborhood of less than 25 million shares in the TLT today. You've got 23 right now. So you're going to have more volume. You haven't tested the low. That's only about 50%. 50, is that right? 50%? Let's see here. 50%, or 50 cents, he said, lower out here on the day. So maybe tomorrow, maybe that's what the market is getting a good whiff of as it breaks back to test previous lows. But what can you say? Okay, we have that one. Okay, let's take a quick look at the usual suspects that everybody is talking about. Microsoft continues on its way down. This could be, though, the fourth straight day with lighter volume each day. Take a look at Apple. It's come back and it's filled its gap higher. That gap higher came on the 2nd of February with 118 million shares. The day after that, you got out of 154 million shares. Today, you got 32 million shares. So looks like there is some support here, at least for Apple in FLX. Yeah. Just no volume today in Netflix, sitting down at the previous lows, but that doesn't mean if the market goes lower that it isn't going to be sucked down with it. Okay. See out here. Take a quick look at Amazon, AMZN. Well, you don't have a lot of volume, but you're basically breaking through support. You shouldn't get any lower than $90.93. If you do in the next day or so, that would suggest you're going to go back and retest the 81.43 January 6th low. But so many of these stocks look like they're already set up for that. The only problem I had with being short was trying to get past earnings, or not earnings, but fund buying this month. And it looks like it's even weaker than most people could think of, and including me. Okay. Okay. AMD. AMD had some good news today. The numbers are out for the processors in server farms and cloud business. It's doing pretty good. Don't know if it's going to do much against the rest of the market. You do not have a lot of volume compared to this February 1st gap higher at 152.5 million shares. Today you're just hanging out in that gap area with about 34.7 million shares so far and kind of going sideways. Take a look at NVIDIA. These are what we were talking about, is waiting for these stocks to click again below a 3x3 displaced moving average. You got light volume today, but maybe a couple more days before we see those hit those movements, or those trend lines. But I don't know. Market does not look right now. I mean, the volume just tends to dry up down here. Take a look at some of the others out here. The leader of the pack, as I like to call it, Micron, the ball bearings of the semiconductor market. We all know it's all ball bearings these days. You're just kind of going sideways out here. You had a low on the 22nd with 12.2 million shares. You're into that today with 5.7. Again, there's a lot of stuff out here that looks like it could bounce, but every time it seems to move, there seem to be a ton of short sellers all over this. Is GLD turned around? Asked Joe. Okay, GLD. Let's do this. Okay. Now, you had a kind of a big move. It looks to me like you got the first sign out here of what Wyckoff called an automatic rally. What you would love for GLD to do is pull back a little bit on light volume, get kind of close to the 3x3, and then the next move is probably going to be it, but it's probably going to consolidate for a little bit over the next few days. Okay, we looked at Amazon. Let's take a look at the XLE. And just hanging out at the lows. Got 13.4 million shares so far today. There's a kind of a gentle trend line going higher out here, but it's looking at the dollar and everything else, looks like it's problematic to get too excited out here on that. Let's take a look at the GDX, see if there's any different story here. Kind of the same thing. You got your first pop, got a nice gap higher today. Look for it to pull back a little bit, about maybe 27.40. 27.45, and that does it on light volume, and then that would be the turn back here. But generally, you don't have a move down of 20 days that instantly gets corrected in one day, popping back above it. You're probably going to consolidate in the $27.50 to $28 range for a little while before that starts getting going, but actually a good sign, but maybe not the one that takes you longer. DLR for Frank. Take a quick look. Okay, going back down to the lows, 97.05 is the January 6th low of this year. 2.2 million shares. Volume's not all that exciting so far today, 1.4, but you'd need it to get down to probably 97.05 to find the low. Okay. How much time we got? I got a little bit. Yeah. Do we have it? Nah. Anyway, when we come back, we'll look at a couple of the earnings out after the bell tonight. And then that'll be the end of the show. In the meantime, keep a close eye on the close today, because I think that tells you a lot if you can't rally into fun time. We'll be back then.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
It's something I had to do for just a second. Anyway, TGLS. Take a quick look at that. GLS. Technoglass. Well, certainly it's been moving higher. What do these guys do? Architectural systems for commercial and residential construction industry in Colombia, Panama, and internationally. Company offers low-emissive laminated, thermo-laminated, thermoacoustic, tempered, silkscreen, curved, and digital print glass products. Okay, so they make glass. They're not that far. Okay. Colombia. Okay. Well, just the volume, though, is problematic. If you're on the wrong side of that, you're not getting out. But, I don't know. I'd have to dig into the company to find out how much of that has to do with building new buildings and how much that has to do with some kind of technology that they may be in. But you would think that looks awful stretched at the moment. So if I was in it, I'd probably take my money and run. To Technoglass, thank you. Doug. Okay, and see what else we have here. Let's take a look at the volume. Again, we were talking earlier, it wasn't very big. We're only doing about 7.5 billion now. So it's not a huge volume day down so far. We had a lot more volume come in the last few minutes of the day yesterday. So I think it is something you kind of have to wait on. But we'll see. We should be seeing fund money coming in if there's going to be some, like right now. See what the close is like. Sell when you can, not when you have to. We shall return.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most